but it's about how the independent fundamental Baptist movement, of which we're familiar, is how they hold themselves. I think, Kayla, you're talking about how you're speaking for God. Like, you're supposed to be the moral paragon of society. Like, God has entrusted you with his words and his will to be the shining city on the hill, to lead all of us out of darkness. If that's the case, why is it that you guys are consistently the last people to figure out like the most obvious moral answers? You were wrong for decades on civil rights, wrong for decades on women's rights, wrong for decades on trans and gay rights, like everything they
part, TJ. Holy cow, yes. And I'm
go ahead.
No, I was just about to go off. I'm sorry is an action word. I tell my kids this. So, Bob Jones, what the fuck have you done for the Black community since you segregated?
Right. It's it's nothing. Yeah. It's so I'm glad you brought. I was bringing that up too. I had that written down. That's good because it's true. It's like, because you're like, oh, okay, sorry about that. Let's just pretend it never happened, which sounds kind of familiar. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of that shit going on, and there's a say what?
This is white people shit. I'm sorry.
And so there's a. Do you guys remember this example? They would give this example all the time in church. And even as like a teenager, I found this very funny that they didn't see the point. They would do this example right here. They'd say, so, the problem with the church is that the church becomes like more backslidden secular every year. So right now the church is here and the world is here. But 10 years from now, the world will be here and the church will be here where the world used to be. Do you guys remember seeing that example in church? I saw it all the time. And I was like, yeah, I wonder why that is. I wonder why that's the case. Maybe it's because like the positions you guys held were just cultural positions and not actual moral positions. You just you stay about 30 or 40 years behind the culture. You fight, you complain, you bitch, you moan and bitch some more and say, oh, it's too bad society is progressing. And then 10 years later, you're exactly where they are. And it's like, okay, why are you keeping this up? This is a charade. So if you guys want to add on that, let me know, because I don't know.
That's how Bob Jones is right now. Like, now you can have headphones on wherever on campus. Girls can wear jeans.
I was about to say that. That's what it eats me up.
It's so much easier to go off campus with the opposite sex. Like, there's just so much more you can do now that back when we went, like, you would get campused or even kicked out. For any of that
everybody did get kicked out.
I haven't even heard that term getting campused in so long. Like, so many like memories just came flashing back, and I was like, "Oh, I'm glad you said that." I just remember lots of things.
It just really makes you wonder that if you actually believe in moral objectivity, let's say you do, or not everyone does, but let's say you do believe in moral objectivity, and that some actions are wrong no matter what, and all right, so why was this wrong 10 years ago, but it's fine now? Like, explain that to me. Like, if you built decades of your institution upon these precepts, I'm going to need you to sit down and fucking tell me, why is it that you just abandoned this? I know the real reason you did, because your institution... Yeah, your institution would fall apart. Like, it'd be untenable to hold these rules in 2024 when you could get away with it in 2003, which doesn't give me a lot of confidence in your ability to decipher what is and isn't morally correct.
There's no other than to be like, yeah, it's blind leading the blind. It's like, we're just following the old guy before us, and this works for us, and we're hypocrites. There's no other way to explain it logically.
Well, I think, I don't know if how much you guys still follow Bob Jones, but the president of the school that I went to in Florida, that, I mean, I love, but he went and took a job at Bob Jones, and Bob Jones just had like an inward like falling out in the last couple of years within like the executive leadership, and people were like, we need to, like, there are some good people that work there that were like, we need to modernize, like, this, we have to change, like, none of what you're saying, like, listen, hold on, DJ. None of what you're saying can be found in the Bible. Like, this is wrong, whatever. And like BJU was slowly starting to like modernize and stuff. And then there was like a whole inward thing that caused people to leave, because they were like, we can't even make this look like what Christianity should look like, because you guys want it to be stuck in the ways, like, so hard. And because this person, I guess people were like, oh, it's becoming too liberal, and people were like, nope, we're just trying to treat people like adults and like humans, and like back up the rules with what is actually in the Bible. And so I don't know, I think it's interesting that just when they were like making progress to an extent, like not even talking about like racial disparity or anything like that, just like with the rules of being able to wear jeans and go off campus and that kind of stuff, that people were like, oh no, too liberal, can't let these kids go off campus by themselves, shut it all down. So it's still just like the inward fighting when they try to change. It's like just the old establishment is like, no, let's keep it the way it's always been. So anyway, sorry, that was a weird sidebar, but
no, it's with that stuff. Oh, go ahead, Karla.
I was just saying, I have no idea. I did not hear about this, so I've not kept up with Bob Jones. So I'm gonna immediately Google what they don't want to like Bob Jones is like, I mean, you go into it, you walk, you get through those gates, and it's like you enter. It's like you see it, it's pretty, it looks normal from the outside, and it's like you enter the bubble. So I really don't think that they do want to change Guy. I mean, like, you're right. That's it.
Like a whole thing. I'm gonna text the link to you guys so you can.
Yeah, it's they don't want to change. They have to. They're being forced. Their arms are being twisted.
I think that there's good people who wanted to change, and like the institutionalized establishment of like the good old boys are like absolutely not. And so like they drive out anyone that wants to change or does want to do better or does believe differently.
Do you guys know the name Steve Pettit?
Oh, I remember Steve Pettit. Yeah.
She knows what I'm talking about.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I heard about this. So he's the current president right now, and he's the one who's made all.
Wait, Steve Pettit is president of Bob Jones?
No, he's gone.
He's gone now? They got rid of him?
Did you not hear about this?
No, because that's what I was going to talk about. He wanted to make more changes, and Triple Sticks or Bob Jones III was like, absolutely not. Like came out of retirement.
And he said, if you're going to basically like, if you're going to try to like tie my hands and not allow me to lead the school in the way in which you've entrusted me to do so, he was like, I can't in good conscience be a part of an organization that isn't willing to change. And he left. I think he left.
Because the whole board, and all of the Bob Joneses or whatever, they basically bullied him out.
But there was like a good number of people that agreed with him. Like people on faculty were like, no, he's doing the right things. Like he's making the right changes. Like he's trying. And like half of the other people were like, not get fucked. Like I'm not doing that.
Really out of the loop. I'm about to have to.
Yeah, he announced his resignation like a year ago as of March.
Dang, okay,
And I think he's gone. But there was like you'll have to go down the rabbit hole, but there was like a leaked letter that came out of the board. Like it got leaked to the media and it became a whole thing. And then he had to make a statement. But I don't think he's the current president though. Because I think he got like forced out.
Yeah. It sucks because like the faculty that we actually trusted and that were cool and like wanted to make an impact on all of the students, I could tell they had to tiptoe and walk on eggshells, because if they spoke out of line or like tried to implement a cool rule, and like help empower you, the school would find out somehow, or some Boge, we call them Boge, but it's like students who snitch. If they found out, they would tell like the dean of students or dean of women or something like that, and then that faculty member would get in trouble. So it's like people who actually want to help and make a difference have to be quiet. Like they have to shut their mouths, or they're going to lose their job. Yeah.
Remember in Harry Potter when Draco becomes... Oh, sorry. I'm going to have a delay.
Oh, no, you're okay. There's a delay. We talked at the same time. You're good. What's up?
I was just saying it's like Harry Potter when all those like the worst kids became, what were they? I'm a bad Potter nerd right now. What were they called? Umbridge's like, not Dumbledore. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Draco was up in that and like everyone's on everybody. It's just like that. It's like Hogwarts, but no magic. It sucked.
And I think that's sad. Like the cool faculty, like they cared about people and they wanted to make a difference in their lives and like not be the same old, and like the fact that there was such a lack of like, because you can disagree with someone and you can think that they're not doing something correctly and still hold space for them and value them and let them do their own thing. Like, but not in these circles.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Listen,
I
you
do
either believe one thing or you're going straight to hell. There's no in
That's
between.
exactly how they are. That's literally like the core thing. I think, TJ, you did a great job explaining IFB on our episode 1. Like your definition and everything, the way you explained it was perfect. But when my brain goes IFB, like that's that core. That's the core. But
I don't remember what I said.
I have a quick. I do have a quick question before you move on, TJ. It's just like a little one, but you spit some facts last episode about like some things I didn't know about, like what did you say? Martin Luther King Jr. applied to go to Bob Jones University, all this stuff. But it just got me thinking about how very hard. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about the curriculum at Bob Jones, and I do want to give us some credit, and even the kids that are still there. All of these rules, all of that stuff in place, and it is an intense school. It is it's a hard school. It was hard. I just wanted to say that, and I just wanted to see if Karla, like, you felt like our classes and stuff were pretty intense and all that.
It was extremely hard. Like, as strict as Bob Jones is, it is actually one of the best schools for business, for medicine, and especially for music. They had a really, really good, like, they were known for their liberal arts program, and I was a part of their music program. The hardest classes, great classes. My voice teacher, he used to sing for the Met Opera. So like all the voice teachers, they're like overqualified. The teachers are super smart. It's just like, they just oppress you so much. So it's hard to remember that we had like really good classes, and there were so many Bible classes on top of it. So it's like we couldn't even relish in the fact that we were learning so many great things, because it was just Bible verses, Bible verses, Bible verses, Bible history, like learning how to be a good Christian woman. And it was just, I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy, but yeah, the
right. It is kind of hard to remember through. Like that was one that obviously we're on episode 2, like this is one of the last thoughts I had was like, oh yeah, I had to have a 4.0 or whatever. I came out of high school like swinging. I was ready. That was all I had coming out of the Haven, was like to read and like, just lose myself in books and education. And I remember getting to Bob Jones and being like, what the fuck? I was